Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Let us chant 18th verse together. Karmanya karmayah pashyet akarmani cha karmayah sabuddhiman manushyeshu sayuktah krutsna karma krute. Bhagavan was elaborating the topic of what is karma, what is akarma, and what is vikarma. Bhagavan first takes the topic of akarma. A slight feedback, little bit, we can tweak. Bhagavan first takes the topic of akarma just to elaborate how there can be some erroneous notions in this idea that what is really meant by akarma and what is meant by karma. A little louder. I think it's a balance between echo and volume. At the back, you can hear me well? Yes? Okay, good. So Bhagavan said, this person is, the Gurudev's words was, this is the hero of Bhagavad Geeta. Who is this person? Karmani akarmayah pashyet. Meaning while doing action, while this ahankara is very, very active, he is able to pay attention to that consciousness which is actionless. Karmani means while he is involved in action, he doesn't get carried away with that action. One part of his mind is always holding on to that higher truth. And akarmani cha karmayah. When he withdraws ahankara and is made to sit in one place, not moving, what an ordinary person would call as actionlessness, in that withdrawal of ahankara, he sees action. In withdrawal of ahankara and sitting quietly, he doesn't mistake that to be actionlessness of Atma. Akarmani cha karmayah. In akarma, he is seeing karma. To find examples for this is very hard. You cannot find a worldly example. Any example will fall short, because only a Gnani can live in this way. You take an example from the world, the driving force behind their vyavahara will not be jnanam. It might be some willpower, it might be something else. But one closest example is, have you seen a painter plan for a painting? Before they start painting, they'll sit down and visualize the whole painting in their mind. Outside, if somebody looks, you feel like that painter is sitting still. But really, you peep into the painter's mind, there is vigorous activity going on in his mind. But if he's a good painter, when he starts painting, he as though gets lost in that painting. If it is done in the perfect way, not the painting, the bhava, if it is in the right way, it is as though he is not painting it himself, he is just an instrument to get that piece painted. Meaning he can lose himself in that painting. This is that Gnani. While he is in action, he is actionless. Meaning he knows his nature to be actionless. While he is withdrawn and sitting in one place, in that place he sees action. Because ahankara withdrawing is also one kind of action. Keeping this ahankara calm, keeping this ahankara withdrawn is also another kind of action. So the one who has become at ease with this world, that person is a Gnani. If we miss this idea, we will have our own definitions of what is knowledge, and there is a chance that we will always be frustrated. Because we know no matter how hard we try, there are different duties, different responsibilities which will come on our plate. Some of them we have gone after, or many of them duty brings to us. Means whenever you sign up for any kind of dharma, any ashrama for that matter, brahmacharya will bring its own responsibilities. Grahastha ashrama will bring so many responsibilities. Now if somewhere we have this idea that when everything quietens down, at that time, or only when everything quietens down, only then there is liberation. Bhagavan says that day is never going to come. When vyavahara per se will quieten down literally outside. Vyavahara might change. Means we were not doing these kind of actions, we started doing some other kinds of actions. But for vyavahara to disappear, and only for this ahankara to get withdrawn and sit in one place, Bhagavan says don't make that as definition of Jivan Mukti. So what is the insignia of a Gnani? While in vyavahara, his one part of his mind is holding on to this knowledge. I think last session we had seen example of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ji, what he had said, right? Oh no, it was in the camp. It was in the camp. So what happened was, somebody was standing and kids were playing there outside. So I asked Amma, what are you doing? She said, I'm keeping an eye. And she had her Manisha Panchakam book in hand, so she was reading also. One part of her mind is on the kids also. I said, this is exactly what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa told us. In the midst of all activities, he says, keep an eye. Keep an eye on that higher reality. Don't get so carried away that every experience affects us so much that mind gets disturbed. That ability to keep an eye on the higher truth, that is the ability of this Gnani. If one is able to do that, Bhagavan says that person is buddhiman. We had seen buddhiman word, right? If somebody has balam, we say he is balavan. Somebody has dhanam, we say he is dhanavan. All of us have buddhi. But this title goes only to that person. Means in the midst of all activity, he is able to pay attention to that higher reality. As his own self, Bhagavan says if we can accomplish that, our purpose of having a human birth is fulfilled. Saha yuktaha krutsna karma krut. Krutsna karma krut means there are so many projects he had in life, so many activities he started doing in life. But really speaking, this is what should get accomplished in and through all those activities. Okay? So yesterday was Gita Jayanti. There is one verse in Bhaja Govindam, we'll see in the second session. Bhagavad Geeta Kinchidadita. Bhagavan Shankaracharya is telling us, you don't have to memorize the whole Bhagavad Gita, try to get overwhelmed by 700 verses. So what is said in which chapter? Bhagavan says, little bit of it if we can hold on to, kinchit, and try to internalize it. Any one message from Bhagavad Gita, if we can hold on to and internalize it, that will remove a lot of samsara from our life. Kriyate tasya yamena na charcha. One who reads Bhagavad Gita and internalizes in this way, samsara is as though disappeared from his life. The final result is fear of death is also removed. Kriyate tasya yamena na charcha means that. But more on that verse we'll elaborate in the second session. The important part here is at least one message should speak to us. If not the whole chapter, if you say what is the essence of 4th chapter, it is this shloka. Karmani akarmayah pashyet, akarmani cha karmayah. In the midst of all actions, he is able to pay attention to that actionless truth. Now Bhagavan is again elaborating what is this Gnani, who is this Pandita? What is the definition of a Pandita? 19th verse. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha Jnanagni dagdha karmanam Tamahuh panditam buddhaha Yasya sarve samarambhaha Kama sankalpa varjitaha Jnanagni dagdha karmanam Tamahuh panditam buddhaha. Tam ahuhu panditam buddhaha. Buddhaha means wise people. They call this person as Pandita. Tam ahuhu panditam buddhaha. Buddhaha tam panditam ahuhu. Wise people call this person as a Pandita. Now colloquially, Pandit word goes in different ways. Somebody who is very learned, ye Pandit ji hai. In Hindi they use this. Somebody who does ritual, there also the word Pandit is used. But according to Bhagavan Krishna, who is the one who is Pandita? Jnanagni dagdha karmanam. Second line. The one who has burnt all karmas in the fire of knowledge. Jnana agni dagdha karmanam. What does that mean? Burnt karmas through the fire of knowledge. You see, the previous verse has become true in his life. Means he never identifies with this ahankara. This individuality he has completely dissolved. Not only dissolved, he has negated it, that at no point he feels he is this individual doing all these karmas. One cannot directly burn karmas. What we can burn is doership. One who has negated this doership, that person is Pandita. Now with negated doership, how does it work in this world? Because we are so unfamiliar with something where without doership we are made to do something. This is first line. Yasya sarve samarambhaha. All his karmas which are there, whatever projects he takes in life, they are devoid of two things. What is that? Kama and sankalpa. Kama means this thought that, or sankalpa comes first. Sankalpa is we are making a resolve that if this thing happens, then everything is perfect. If this event goes in this way, then everything is well in my life. There is nothing more I have to seek. That is called as sankalpa. Once that sankalpa is strong, it turns into kama. Kama means strong insistence on a particular outcome. Strong insistence on a particular outcome. Both of these things are missing in all his karmas. But you just said Gnani has this desire to do loka sangraha. 3rd chapter Bhagavan said that, right? He wants to set the right example. He wants to make sure people are on the right path. Even that is not a desire. There are so many Mahatmas who started doing loka sangraha, but not many people appreciated their work. And if you go in the Himalayas, you will find so many Mahatmas who have come down to the plains and again gone back. where a lot of things which they did, Loka Sangraha did not probably happen in the way that they wanted. But Loka Sangraha doesn't define their Jivan Mukti. It doesn't define their knowledge. It doesn't define their reveling in happiness. That is this Gnani. Before entering into any project, you ask that Gnani, what are you going to get out of this project? He says nothing. What is it that you are expecting out of this project? Means how will you define the success of this project? Transactionally, he might define few things. Because without a goal, no project can be taken. There has to be a metric to check our progress. Milestone should be there to make sure we are in the right path. But internally, if you ask him, what if you don't achieve it? What if those milestones don't happen the way that you want? His answer is, it doesn't matter. If it is there, well and good. If it is not there, I have nothing to lose. That person is a Gnani. Bhagavan says, Tam ahuhu panditam buddha. That person, I call him as Pandita. What is the case of Ajnani? Ajnani's case is that Ajnani, why call Ajnani? Call a sadhaka. Sadhaka, lower word. See, people are nodding their head, yes. Call a sadhaka. For a sadhaka, work becomes a tool for seeking contentment. Work becomes a tool for seeking contentment. And the litmus test for this is, how does the mind react when that work is taken away? Or we are unable to do that work. Somebody else is given that work. The thought in that mind is, if I don't do this, then I'm losing out on something. But in case of Gnani, his contentment doesn't depend on that work. Not that he is not going to do it, but he is not dependent on it for his sukham. That is the difference. And you see in Gurudev's life, all of these things will become very clear about how a Gnani lives. He had so many Jnana yajnas that he would conduct, and most of us know the fame part of it. 15,000 people would attend, 10,000 people would attend, and he was able to inspire so many people. There are instances when he writes in a letter, the pandal in that yajna where I was supposed to give, there was a fire which broke out 20 minutes before the yajna. Nothing remained before the fire brigade came, nothing remained, everything got burnt, nobody was harmed. But we still decided to go ahead with it. We had a yajna under a tree in the opposite venue. And he writes a nice word. He says, we had our yajna under the island below the tree. Means on the island below the tree. And everything went well, Narayana's grace. For a sadhaka, any change in our plan is very unsettling. Small thing gets disturbed here and there. What is the reason? Because that sadhaka is dependent on that work. If it goes the way that I want, then I am content. If there is a small change somewhere and I anticipate it going in a different direction, there is a lot of agitation. And many letters that he writes, Puja Gurudev, where people are writing to him about all kinds of concerns. Imagine somebody, see our family, how many people live? 4, at the most 6. Joint family, let us say 8 people. Their family is 300 centers multiplied by 100 families in each center. Means different kinds of concerns coming to them, and places where he writes, this place is actually the place where he's supposed to go next for a yajna. That got cancelled because of some reason. They couldn't find the venue, they couldn't find something. Right after that, something about financial crisis. Somebody writing to him about, we are going through a difficult financial time here. In and through all those situations, he is not losing sight of the absolute. Means in his vyavahara, in his transaction, there is no sign of anxiety. That, oh my God, there is a financial crisis, what are we going to do? Next yajna is cancelled, what are we going to do? He says, write to the center next to it. Ask them to bring all the study group members. We'll have a small satsang wherever we are. So that is the ability of a Gnani who has become independent of karma, become independent of results from that karma. Another thing what is said is, for a Gnani, this is an expression of their knowledge. For a sadhaka like us, we should strive to do it as sadhana. When knowledge comes, when knowledge becomes strong, that is how it expresses in a Gnani. But we all have projects, right? Which have already taken or we are planning to take. While entering into that project, either in family, work, organization, no matter where we are serving, having this bhava that Bhagwan, make me independent of this work, make me independent of the outcome of this work. That is Divya Drishti. What Bhagwan can bless a sadhaka, what Mother Bhagavad Geeta can bless a sadhaka. One prasada is what we get in our hand. This is another prasada at mind level. Wherever there is chance of getting caught up, there Bhagwan is freeing that devotee. Okay. Now Bhagwan is giving two examples. Both are Jnanis. Both are Jnanis. One decided to get down in this vyavaharik world. One Jnani decided to get involved in transactional world. And the second one decided to live a withdrawn life. Second one decided to live a very withdrawn life in solitude. What is the characteristic of both these people? Main thing to remember is both are Jnanis. Both are able to see the actionless self in and through all the actions. And they don't confuse withdrawal from vyavahara as absolute knowledge. They don't mix it up with actionlessness of the self. But one decided to get down in this world and work, and another decided to live a withdrawn life. In both these Jnanis, what is their mindset? Bhagwan is giving a window into their mind. 20th verse is a Gnani who has entered into Vyavahara. 21st verse is a Gnani who has lived a life of, or who decided to live a life of solitude. Okay, so now let us see how their mind is. How are they able to do that? 20th verse. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti sah tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti sah. Three things should get accomplished. In that Gnani, they are already accomplished. But for us, it will become sadhana. Siddhasya lakshanani sadakasya sadhanani. The lakshana of a siddha purusha becomes a sadhana for a sadhaka. What is the first thing? Karma phala asangam tyaktva. Bhagavan Shankaracharya opens up that word. He says Gnani is the one who doesn't become proud of any karma. Means no karma he feels is superior and some other karma is inferior. That is the first insignia of a Gnani. And literal meaning of this is no insistence on a particular result. No insistence on a particular result. Now remember, who is this Gnani? One who is entering Vyavahara. That is the difference. Only then we can appreciate both these verses. This Gnani is somebody who is very much involved in this world. While he is involved, what is his mindset? That is what Bhagavan is explaining here. So the first one is karma phala asangam tyaktva. No karma he is making or getting too proud about it, that only some actions I will do, others I will not do. Nothing of that sort. When Gurudev started Jnana Yajnas, all of us know 100-day Jnana Yajna it was. And their way of concluding the yajna was they will go on a pilgrimage. And detailed instructions are there on our the archives website. They have the letter also Gurudev would write to all the devotees. He would instruct them 100 days how we should live, and on pilgrimage what we should do when we go. And imagine 1,000 people to go on a pilgrimage. What is the logistics involved? And no support. First yajna, 100 days, nobody was there even to organize it. So it is that he would organize even the pilgrimage. Which bus will go, who will go in which bus, and he'll be the one in the last bus. And his title was, I am the chief sevak. I am the chief sevak. Any bus stops, he will make sure that his bus also stops. When everybody is ready to go, he said all of us will go together. Remember the greatness of that Jnani, one who is involved in Vyavahara, at the same time doesn't consider any work to be small or any work to be big. I had gone to one ashram once, not our mission ashram, some other ashram. There I had gone to meet a Swamiji. When I went to that ashram, first I meet somebody who is gardening, doing gardening outside. Wearing regular clothes, shirt, pant, belt, everything is there. And I said, I want to meet that Swamiji. Where can I meet him? He said, you wait in that inside room, he'll come in 10 minutes. I said, okay. I just spoke to him just like a casual person, went inside and sat. What do I see? Same person wearing all these ochre robes, doing, with that veshti and everything, comes inside. In their tradition, Swamis used to wear other regular civilian dress also. But what touched me is the type of work, that Swamiji was doing. That is one insignia of a Jnani. Internally, there is no prejudice towards any work. There is nothing that is closed off as far as they are concerned. Of course, Dharma might want them to do something. Dharma might also want them not to do certain things. That is a different case. But if you ask that Jnani, it says karma phala asangam tyaktva. Okay, and in and through that, seeking nothing out of that work. That is his first insignia. Second one is, he is not seeking contentment through that work. But naturally the question will become, if he is not seeking contentment there, where does his contentment come from? He says he is nitya truptaha. His contentment is coming from Atma. contentment is coming from that joy within, which is the supreme-most source of joy. Puja Gurudev has a quote where he says, to give love unconditionally, you have to be independent first. To give unconditional love, that person has to be independent. Means to give, what is our motto, Chinmaya Mission? Giving maximum happiness to maximum people for maximum time. But to be able to do that, we have to become independent from the world first. If our happiness depends upon the world, there is no way we can give unconditional happiness to the world. There will be some give and take. I do this, you do this. Or I did this, you did not do this. Something will be there which this Gnani has removed from his life. No pair of opposite can affect that Gnani. No pair of opposite. That is Nitya Trupti. Again, we should keep reminding ourselves, who is this Gnani? One who is in Vyavahara. One who is in Vyavahara. The moment we enter Vyavahara, Puja Gurudev would say, don't expect to come out clean. Don't expect to come out clean. It is like entering a coal factory with white clothes. Wherever you are, some or the other impression will come. How will that come? Either it will come as praise or it will come as criticism. In both cases, because this Gnani is Nitya Trupta, both of those don't affect him. Without Nitya Trupti, if we are sitting in Ahankara and doing karma, praise will take us up, criticism will bring us down. You all must have heard that doha, right? Nindaka niyare rakhiye angana kuti chhawaye. Bina pani sabuna binu nirmala kare suhai. Keep all your critics very close to you. Build them a house in your backyard. Nindaka niyare rakhiye. Kabir Das ji says, keep all your critics very close to you. Angana kuti chhawaye. Build them a house in your backyard. Why is that? Bina pani sabuna binu. Without water, without soap, they will cleanse you. Nirmala kare suhai. I had read this doha long time back. I had mentioned also in a class and everything. But recently, I came across one quote by Raman Maharshi ji, which opened that doha even more for me. You know what he said? Keep all your critics close. Because what they can criticize is only your ego. What they can criticize is only ahankara, not the self. In fact, if somebody is criticizing, he says they are doing us a great favor. What we want to get rid of, that they are getting rid of by themselves. These are great Mahatmas. We should appreciate what they are trying to say. He said, keep your all critics close, because this ahankara is the one who is getting criticized. And that is precisely the one I am trying to negate. Take the other side. If there is praise coming, who is getting praised? Ahankara only. And who is the one that I am trying to negate? The same ahankara. Same ahankara. So tell, who is doing a favor? The one who is praising or the one who is critiquing? The one who is critiquing, truly speaking. But it needs a lot of inner maturity. It needs to make us have Atma as the goal. Keeping that as the goal, we'll be able to look at different experiences in the right perspective. That is this Gnani Nitya Truptaha. Gurudev has written a letter, right? Somebody asked him, who are you? Have you all heard that letter? I was born in the north, I was born in the south, hardened in the north. Different people adore me. And he says, I'm thick-skinned. Thick-skinned means no criticism can affect me, no praise can also affect me. Two done. What is the first one? Karma phala asangam tyaktva. Second one is nitya truptah. Third one is a beautiful one. Nirashrayah. Nirashrayah. Nirashraya means he doesn't take support, doesn't have any worldly motivation for his work. That's how Bhagavan Shankaracharya translates. In general, whenever a sadhaka will do his work, there is some motivation that is belonging to the world. Either it is dharma, or it is artha, or it is even kama. Fourth one also, moksha. Moksha also can push a person to do something. Why do we do satsang? Why do we do sadhana? The ashraya is moksha purushartha. Keeping moksha as the goal, we end up doing different actions. But this Gnani is somebody who is nirashraya. Means he doesn't even do actions. He doesn't do actions even for moksha purushartha. Right? He is mukta, that is why he is being called a Gnani. That is this person, nirashraya, doesn't take support of anything in this world. Goswami Tulsidas ji says, this world is very strange. Whatever you don't go after, that thing comes after you. He is not seeking ashraya in any kind of things in the world. He is not seeking ashraya in any sambandha. But still you ask Gnani, is your life very dry? Look at Gurudev's life, He says, well, is your life very dry? He says, no, whatever we don't seek, that thing runs after us. Goswamiji says, all these relationships, all the joy we are seeking through relationships, they are like a shadow. You run after that shadow runs away. And you run after Rama, you see that shadow runs after us. That is this Gnani, nitya truptah nirashrayah. Not seeking support in anything of this creation. Then second line is declaration of Bhagwan Krishna. You might see him do so much of work. Karmani abhipravruttah. Abhipravruttah means totally engrossed in work. Somebody who can start his day at 4 o'clock in the morning by starting to write letters. Gurudev going to Bangalore, he told our Swamiji there. Swamiji had set up his room, Swami Brahmanandji, everything he had set up very nicely. He said, I hope you have set up my puja samagri. Suddenly Swamiji said, oh, I never asked him his Ishta Devata. So that, I can bring a picture, I can put it and arrange everything. At least little bit of preparation could have been done. Gurudev said, no, not that puja samagri. He said, my puja samagri is letter pad, a pen, and all the envelopes. That is a Gnani, karmani abhipravruttah api. Totally engrossed in work, but what is his understanding? Naiva kinchit karoti saha. There is nothing that I am really doing. Naiva kinchit karoti saha. Now, as I said, these are verses where we cannot find worldly examples. We should not make that mistake of finding some person, finding some external appearance of these qualities, because they are really speaking result of knowledge. So find a Gnani and then look into their life of somebody who was so involved in transaction and see whether they were so dependent on that outcome, whether their contentment came through that work, whether they took motivation from anything outside. He said none of that was there. They were karma phala asangam tyaktva, they were nitya trupta, and they were nirashraya. Sometimes what happens is, even when we are talking to people, it can be our own family, our own friends, somewhere we feel, because I'm telling you something, you have to do that thing. That also is dependence on an outcome. Huh? Don't think outcome is always some result that is going to come in the future, something material. In every interaction, are we insisting upon some outcome? And jnanis have so many interactions. So many people they will give advice. Imagine the samsara they will have if they expect that every person they give advice has to really follow what they are giving. So there is an anecdote I had read in the life of Swami Vivekananda ji. Swamiji was having so many projects going on, so many other work going on. Have you all heard of Rockefeller Foundation? Great philanthropist who is there. And it is said his first introduction to spirituality was through Swami Vivekananda ji. And he was well-to-do at that point, very prosperous and everything. But sometimes when we invest too well in other things, investment in health is not that great. So he was going through a lot of difficulties at his health level and everything. He comes to Swamiji. And Swamiji is writing some letter, not even looking at him, just writing his letter. And Swami Vivekananda's tapasya was so great. He had so many yogic siddhis to his grace, you call it, to his self-effort, whatever he had done. So he looks at Rockefeller, and that conversation they have that is so deep. So many facets about his personality that other people did not know, he himself did not know, that Swamiji tells him. And meeting with a saint is like that. Huh? There is some transformative power that can happen in an individual. And while they are conversing, Swamiji says, always remember, the wealth that you have doesn't belong to you. See a saint, so fearless he is. First time he is meeting him, he says, you are only a channel for that wealth. That wealth really doesn't belong to you. Make sure that this money is used in good work and it reaches the right people. Now he did not like it. He said, nobody speaks to me like this. And he was a man of achievement and everything. First time he had gone to meet a saint. He said, he just walks out of the room. Swamiji again looks back, starts writing his letter. Least concerned where he came from, where he is going. And after a few months, he meets Swamiji again and puts a check on his table. He said, this is what you wanted, right? This is what is there. Swamiji says, I wrote that line precisely. What is? He says, it is for you to thank me. Swamiji looks at that check and says, it is for you to thank me. Meaning what? This is not a favor on me. You should be grateful that you have started walking on the path of good karma. Happiness comes in life because of good karma. This check what you are giving is a thank you note to me. And again he starts writing his letter. The point is, looking at the heart of a saint. If somebody is doing what you are telling, that saint says, I have nothing to gain. If somebody does what you are telling, that saint says, I have nothing to gain. Karmani api abhipravrutopi naiva kinchit karoti sa. There is nothing that this Gnani does. Next verse is of a Gnani but who is withdrawn. So this verse if you find, 20th verse example if you want to find, Puja Gurudev, Swami Vivekananda ji. Next verse example if you want to find, one who is withdrawn, their gurus, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Taponji Maharaj. You see how that verse will open up. Nirashiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham Nirashiriyata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma. Three things for Gnani who is in Vyavahara, three things for Gnani who is withdrawn. What is the first thing? Nirashihi. Nirashihi means not expecting anybody to be in a particular way. Not expecting anybody to be in a particular way. If this much we can accomplish, a lot of freedom will be there in that mind. Nirashihi, no asha with related to anything. Now you think about our life. Where do we have hopes or where do we have specific expectations? Not with objects. This harmonium is harmonium, right? At the most my expectation will be it should play the right swara. If I press sa, sa should come. But imagine the layers of expectations we have when it comes to people. So somebody who is withdrawn, that Gnani is somebody, he has no expectations whatsoever. Examples again, life of Mahatmas. Taponji Maharaj, when Gurudev asked, I should go down in the plain and I should spread this knowledge. What was Swamiji's answer? If they want, let them come here. Very clear, huh? There is no insistence that we should go and do any kind of loka sangraha. But that is their state because they are reveling in that bliss. There is no kartavya, there is no injunction of any kind. Somebody is benefiting, well and good. Somebody is not benefiting, nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. But remember, that is for a Gnani. For us, what will it be? It will be our sadhana. No matter where we are amidst people only. Family, wherever we are kept. There, if we can, try to practice this value. For a Gnani, it is expression of knowledge. For a sadhaka, it is practicing this value. See, when we go to a garden, we don't insist, why does rose have thorn? Right? There is one flower called as kimchuka. Nirgandha eva kimchukaha. There is a statement in Sanskrit, it doesn't have fragrance. And it is said we should not offer a flower which doesn't have fragrance to Bhagavan. There are some traditions which do that. So that line comes in that verse. There is a shloka also, which says kimchuka flower you should not offer. Because it looks very good, but doesn't have fragrance. Now do we insist, why does jasmine have fragrance? Why does kimchuka don't have fragrance? Puja Gurudev would give even more direct example. Garden example is mellow, right? We can understand. Something has color, something doesn't have color. He would say, when you go to a zoo, do we say, why is lion this way? Why is that penguin, so nice, and when it walks also you get so much joy? That is how they are. To reach to this point is a great progress in our sadhana. And actually speaking, that is a sign of inner strength. Acceptance is a sign of inner strength, which will come on the strength of devotion first and on the strength of knowledge. That is the first thing in Mahatma of withdrawal. So now you look at anybody's life, they never tried to change anybody. Look at anybody's life means look at life of Mahatmas who lived a withdrawn life. You see Raman Maharshi ji, you see Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, you see Taponji Maharaj. Nirashihi. You see if they change, very, very good. they will benefit. If they don't change, there is nothing we are going to lose. Second one is also beautiful quality, yata chittatma. Nirashihi is the first one. Yata chittatma means their transaction and their convictions are very well integrated. Their transaction and their convictions are very well integrated. Now you might wonder, where are these meanings coming from? Huh? All of this is from Bhashya only. I'm just speaking in English so that you don't get too overwhelmed by Sanskrit. Look at the precision in which Bhagavan is opening that word. There are so many things in our life we have conviction about. But a sadhaka's struggle is we are unable to implement it. Gnani is somebody, in particular the one who is living a withdrawn life. His mind or conviction and his transaction is very well in sync. Only for such a person, solitude is bliss. Only for such a person, solitude is joy-giving. Otherwise, it will become another struggle. If mind is turbulent, mind is disturbing, and you say, I want to go in solitude, that solitude will not do that sadhaka much good. If he has lived a life of pravrutti, means in transactional world, he has trained his mind to align with his vyavahara. This point we had seen before also, right? What is sadhana? Sadhana is living by our convictions. Whatever things we have taken up as our conviction, making sure that in vyavahara, it expresses in the same way. That part, if somebody is able to do, that becomes sadhana. But for a jnani, that is their way of living. Yata chittatma means that. Last one is tyakta sarva parigraha. One who is withdrawn, that person cannot afford to have too many desires. Means too many hoardings also, because that will push him into karma. If he has withdrawn, then he lets go of this sense of holding back to anything. Parigraha means to hold back. Tyakta sarva parigraha means to let go of all those things. Aparigraha, that is what in Ashtanga Yoga we see, but over here it is called as Tyakta Sarva Parigraha. It is said in Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's life, he had told all his disciples that I never touch money. Imagine a saint living his whole life without touching money. Touching means literally, like physically touching money. He said, I have never touched money. And Swami Vivekananda ji wanted to test it. So he puts one coin below his mattress. And when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa sits on it, he jumps as though somebody has put something burning, in his mattress. And he jumps and calls. At that time he was Naren. So he calls him, who put this? And Swamiji says, I put it. You know what he says? Good. Never believe in anything unless you test it. Never believe in anything unless you check it. Imagine the heart of a saint. His own disciple testing him, but at the same time he says, whatever I said is true also. That is the insignia of a saint. But we should never make the mistake of saying that they are not contributing to the world. In his one writing, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is praying to Divine Mother. He says, Oh Mother, why do you keep sending people like these to me? People used to come and just seek his darshan, seek so many things. And these are his words, I'm just quoting it. He says, all of them are like milk mixed in 5 times the quantity of that water. whatever quantity of milk is there, 5 times the quantity of that milk is the water. They are like that, milk mixed with 5 times the quantity of that milk as water. And he says, my eyes are burning trying to soak that water. My eyes are burning trying to soak that water. I mean, just having darshan of such a Mahatma removes a lot of sorrow in their life. And that Mahatma is already doing something without actually doing anything outside. Yesterday we were reflecting upon this. In Tapovan Aarti, there is one line. Chinmaya Guru hame dekar mahati kini krupa. In Tapovan Ji Maharaj, not having done anything himself, he did lot of krupa on us by giving somebody like Puja Gurudev. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's krupa was by giving somebody like Swami Vivekananda Ji. So that is this Mahatma. 3 things are established in their life. Nirashir Yata Chittatma. Nirashi is the first one. Yata Chittatma is the second. Tyakta Sarva Parigraha is the third. Shariram Kevalam Karma. Their cheshta, their karma is only so that basic needs are satisfied. Basic needs are satisfied. Elaboration of these words will come in Bhajagovindam. Rathya Charpata Virachita Kantaha. Means he makes, you know what is Godadi? In Karnataka they make it, they call it Gojidi. Gojidi means whatever old clothes you have, you just make layers of it and then stitch through it. This is not even that. He is just gathering patches of torn rags which are on the street and making a quilt out of it and wearing it. But where is his mind? Punya Punya Vivarjita Pantaha. His mind is reveling in that truth which is beyond Punya, beyond Papa. So only that much of karma he is doing. Shariram Kevalam Karma. Kurvan Napnoti Kilbisham. Even though doing that, he is not accruing any new vasanas. He is not adding on any new layers. Okay. See, whenever we reflect on every word of Bhagavad Gita, when we chant it, those ideas should again ring a bell. So let us chant these 3 verses together and conclude. Yasya sarve samarambaha 17, 20 and 21. Slowly you chant and try to pay attention to what we just discussed. Yasya sarve samarambaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahuh panditam buddhaha tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmanyabhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha nirashiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.